Good morning and thank you for the opportunity to present my study. My name is Boniesta Melani. I'm a senior lecturer at the Department of English Education in University of Mataram. Today I would like to present my study on vocabulary coverage and reading comprehensions of university EFL learners. Let me begin by giving a short introduction of the study. As we all know, the knowledge of vocabulary is positively associated with the ability to read. Study shows that word knowledge is crucial for reading comprehensions, and a reader who knows only few words tends to be a poor reader. Studies looking at the relationship between word knowledge and reading comprehensions found high correlations in which the breadth of vocabulary knowledge accounts for more than 60% of the variance in reading comprehension. So how many words are needed for reading comprehension? To score 55% or higher on reading tests, Lover estimated that knowing 95% or more words appeared in a reading text can significantly facilitate a reader to adequately comprehend a text. This estimation was obtained by asking the readers to mark the words that they didn't know in the text and further checking their responses on a translation test. Having 95% coverage means that there are 5 unfamiliar words in every 100 tokens. Smith, Jiang, and Grape 2001 suggest that a 98% estimate or 1 unknown word in every 50 to 100 words is a more reasonable coverage to reading academic texts, which is also similar for extensive reading activity, as suggested by Hirsch and Nation in 1992. However, for intensive reading activities, less than 95% vocabulary coverage is suggested by Nation 2013 to give learners more opportunities to use learning strategies and develop their language competence. There aren't many studies in Indonesia investigating university learners' vocabulary coverage. Studies conducted at different places in Indonesia show that high school graduates are likely to have lesser amount of vocabulary than the size they are expected to learn. The national curriculum requires high school students to learn approximately 4,000 words in senior high school, 1,500 of which should have been learned in junior high school. Therefore, they should have known around 4,000 to 5,000 English words when entering college. In 1968, Quinn found that the university EFL students showed less than 1,000 mastery of the most frequent words on a translation test of the general surface list after having 6 years of EFL instructions in high school. In diagnosing reading problems, Nation 74 estimated that Indonesian university students recognized around 600 words appeared in reading passages. The students were unfamiliar to basic vocabulary such as pronouns, days of the week, numbers, and high frequently used verbs. Next, Nurwani and Reed 1999 reported that university freshmen had approximately 1,226 vocabulary size, which is again far below the 4,000 word standard set by the national curriculum. Finally, more recent study by Melani et al. 2013 estimated university starters' vocabulary size to be roughly around 1,364 words when tested with the receptive sections of vocabulary level tests designed by Smith and Clapham 2001. Although all students in these studies failed to meet the national standard for vocabulary learning, the trend shows an improvement in vocabulary mastery from time to time. So recent research is needed to gain current information on Indonesian EFL learners' vocabulary knowledge, especially in order to see or estimate their reading ability. This study aims to estimate university students' vocabulary coverage on the reading materials used at the university level in order to estimate their reading comprehension ability. Further analysis looks at the types of words that are likely to be unfamiliar, as well as recommendations of learning strategies for the given coverage. For the purposes, we'll look at the methodology. 54 semesters students aged 19 to 25 years old participated in an intensive reading class. All of them are EFL learners with at least 7 years of instructions experience. They were asked to identify unknown vocabulary found in 6 randomly selected reading texts of general topics. The texts were taken from Practical Faster Reading Book by Marshbeck, which is written for intermediate to advanced readers. The type token counts was conducted to check the text lexical diversity. Types counts the number of words that are different, and tokens is the count of the total running words in the text. This was done through the V-Words program that is available freely through Paul Meara's Lognostic webpage. Also, a vocabulary profile was used to check the frequency of unfamiliar words. The data from unfamiliar word identification and translation check of the unfamiliar word were used to measure the student's vocabulary coverage, or the percentage of familiar words as demonstrated in Lofer and Sim 1985. To calculate the coverage, the total number of words in the text was subtracted by the number of unknown words and then multiplied by 100. And the result, the type token analysis shows that the texts have approximately the same length, around 470 to 516 tokens, or 241 to 275 word tokens. The texts are suitable for intensive reading activity that requires short reading text, normally between 300 to 500 words. The text also shows similar level of difficulty based on the average number of unfamiliar words, which is between 6.4 to 11.5 words. Looking at the proportions of familiar words, the learner's vocabulary coverage was estimated to range from 97.7 to 98.7%, suggesting that the learners know most of the words used in the text, and therefore, following Lofer's estimation, 95% coverage above may have the chance to adequately comprehend the text. Next, 98% coverage allows the learners to read independently without checking the meaning of unknown words in a dictionary, or what Hirsch and Nation called as independent reading. These conditions also allows the learners to apply guessing strategy when encountering difficult words while reading, which may lead to incidental vocabulary learning. However, having 98% coverage is not recommended for intensive reading, because it gives less chances for the learners to apply learning strategies and to extend the development of their language competence. For intensive reading, Nation suggests less than 95% coverage to make the most of the reading materials to develop learners' language and strategic competencies. Concerning the types of unfamiliar words, nouns are mostly unfamiliar, followed by adjective, verbs, and adverbs. This is not surprising because nouns cover most of the words in a text. Of the 39 unfamiliar nouns, more than 80% are above the 2,000 most frequent words or are low-frequency nouns. And almost 3/4 of all unfamiliar words are low-frequency, which means 1/4 of the total unfamiliar words are high-frequency words. This is interesting because the first 2,000 word families are expected to have been acquired at high school level. In conclusion, after having at least 7 years EFL instruction, second-year university students show a familiarity to more than 95% of the words appear in intensive reading materials designed for intermediate to advanced ESL learners. And then, nouns are most likely unfamiliar by learners due to their high use in text. Next, having 98% coverage will give more opportunity for second language readers to read the passages without dictionary lookup independently. Also, with a given coverage, the learners can guess the meaning of unknown words from context when encountering difficult words. However, despite the need to have high vocabulary coverage for independent reading comprehension, less than 95% coverage provides a preferable conditions for intensive reading activities that facilitate L2 learners developing their language and strategic competence. Last but not least, more studies in the future are needed to keep in track of the Indonesian EFL learners' vocabulary mastery to evaluate school instructions in the country. Alright, that is all my presentations. These are my references. Thank you for your attention. Any questions, comments, and suggestions are welcome.